Hey, all right, what's happening?
I'm not a natural exhibitionist. I quite like being quite private. Sometimes it is a bit like, I can't believe I did this behind closed doors and now I have to go and do it on stage. I think I was quite captivated at an early age by the whole industry of music. I also was very keen on design and stuff, and I ended up studying design, and I would study CD booklets, you know, and be fascinated by thank yous and production credits. I mean, I used to record a load of my own songs and then design my own artwork and cut it all out and do the creases properly and put it in a CD box and clip it all together, and I suppose it was almost like pretending like I had something released.
You look around.
I'd played a couple of times in my dad's band. I remember that first experience. I mean, I was pretty young, like 12, and experiencing for the first time that like pure stage fright. Being very scared beforehand and then coming off stage and being like, I want to do that again. I kind of sat down quite early on to think about what could be done to present something visually. Live visuals is a bit of a minefield, I think, but I like the idea of being quite abstract about it, not really too distracting. How could I do something that would make each night different or hypothetically unique, you know? And it's like, well, if we use cameras on stage, then it will be different every night, and it will be our performances feeding this, so it's connected with what's happening on stage. It's not just watching a predetermined thing, you know, like if all the lights go off, the visuals go off as well, you know, so I kind of like that.
From a visual background, it's quite interesting to see people doing new things and trying to be innovators.
The set design was amazing. I like the visuals at the back. They were so cool because they were really simple, but they looked really effective.
There is still so much to see. There is still so much to do. I can't be more than halfway through. I know I'm wasting precious time.
Okay, so we've come down to 3939, which is a new shop on Kingston Road that are featuring a t-shirt that I've just designed, which is a project that I've been working on, which is about the idea of merchandise outside of the traditional cheap and throwaway and low quality object. So I developed a design that was specific for t-shirts and wouldn't be connected with any particular record, so that it could exist in its own right, and it would only be appropriate that it would be sold in a completely different environment. I think it's very much the idea that it might appeal to someone who has no idea about the musical context of it.
I was into his music before his face, but his face is a good addition.
He's a very handsome man.
We were commenting.
We were commenting.
He looks
on
quite
how-
dashing.
I love him. I'm a bit obsessed.
After the promotion of the first record had ended, for years I'd been thinking about that idea of coming back with an exciting piece of news, that there would be a new record. So when it was actually finished, I think that then it was like, wow, this is quite exciting, because I'd been aware that there was some commentary online of like, what has happened to that guy. It's great that people are talking about you, blah, blah, but this kind of like, why isn't there any more music or whatever? Or if you actually read that people get like upset about it, you're kind of like, well, you can't just turn on a tap and have more of it kind of thing. But I felt like after a certain period, I was like, well, it has to be more music, or I was more than happy to let it just be one record.
Basically just vanished off the face of the earth. I was just really intrigued, just wondering like where he had gone to, and he came back with his new album, and I just fell in love with it all over again.
I think that proves that like music speaks for itself. You don't turn on the radio and hear much Tom Vek. It's just someone doing their own thing and that connecting with people.
The first record came together quite spontaneously and it was a lot of fun, and then for a long time I was saying to people that I was waiting to make another spontaneous record. I wouldn't have wanted to make a record that sounded like it took 5 years to make. I got a few smirks when I said that to people.